Hey, this is Walter Raheem. We are on now with Coach Greg White from the Big Shots Elite Basketball Camp. How's it going, Coach?
Doing great. How are you?
Actually, doing great, doing great. So this is 2015. Again, so how many years now have you guys been doing this Big Shots Elite Basketball Camp, Coach? Just kind of
this will be our fourth summer. Obviously, we started in D.C., and I had the second, third camps in D.C., and this year we've moved the camp over to Ashland, Virginia at Randolph-Macon College.
Excellent, excellent, Coach. So fourth time around, you guys had tons of experience, tons of opportunities now bringing out the kids. What can the parents, what can the kids expect from this camp versus the last 3 years?
Well, obviously, we've been able to build on the camp year after year. We've got an outstanding coaching staff, number one. Two, we have some clear-cut goals for the camp. Certainly the area of fundamentals, which, teaching, the drills and repetitions and so forth. But we also have the added piece of motivation, which every kid's motivated a little bit differently, but helping kids understand the incredible possibilities out there with over 2,000 colleges out there recruiting 2,500 coaches at 5 different levels of play and just so many amazing opportunities. But the other thing I've added is a seminar for the parents, which is the first hour of camp. I personally take the moms, dads, and family members into a classroom setting and go through 15 points on recruiting, the things that they need to be brought up to speed on, such as the academic arm of the NCAA, the clearinghouse, talking about the SAT, the core courses that a kid might need, what moms and dads need to do to help their children get recruited. So I kind of run through the A, B's, and C's of college basketball recruiting, and from both perspectives, the parents as well as the athletes that are being recruited. Obviously, I'm now a parent of a 15-year-old daughter that's a pretty good athlete that's being recruited, so I have a feel for that. I was very heavily recruited out of high school at the Division I level as well as Division II level, and I have recruited hundreds of athletes.
Sure. I want to ask you, right, so just the things that you're listed, this is not your traditional basketball camp. I mean, most of the time it's kind of a, churn and burn type of deal, get as many kids in. It seems like you guys take a lot more time educating the parents and the athletes on the process. What is it about that element? Why is it that you've decided that that's so important to make sure you bring to your camps, Coach?
Well, the camp obviously is different from the standpoint of you certainly play some games, which is at every basketball camp. You'll certainly do some fundamentals, but the learning piece is second to none. What I do is I take my expertise, 28 years as a college coach at UCLA, Marshall, University of Charleston, and the University of Pikeville. Most of those years as a head coach, having recruited guys that have played in the NBA, and I basically give that knowledge to the student athletes as well as the parents. And then after the camp's over, I team up with the parents and assisting them and help them find the right fit, the right school for their children. So many kids go to the wrong school. They end up having to transfer. That's a disastrous situation. As a matter of fact, 80% of the kids that transfer end up transferring to a lesser situation and are more unhappy at their second school than they are their first. So I just try to head that off, make sure parents are informed, make sure the athletes are informed, and I'm doing my part as an educator on the game of recruiting and the game of basketball.
I think that's huge. I think that's huge, the fact that you're going just beyond the overall observation, exposure aspect to educate them. So, I mean, even for the kids who leave there, whether they have high, grades or ratings from your staff or not, they're still leaving there with the information. I think that's huge, and I think parents, again, that's the cost of admission by itself. If you don't mind, I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned, again, you've already been through the path as far as being recruited, being a coach. Can you tell us a little bit more about your story and kind of how you got to where you are now?
Well, absolutely. I was a pretty bad basketball player growing up in a small community in southern West Virginia, Mullins, West Virginia. For the listeners, a little familiarity with Mullins would be Mike D'Antoni, the former New York Knicks coach, Phoenix Suns coach, U.S. Olympics team coach, and the Lakers coach. So pretty much from a small community, but it was a hotbed for basketball, but I was horrendous, and my whole life changed. I was in junior high school, and I had a coach look at me and say, "You can do this. You can play college basketball. If you learn to become a great ball handler, you've got a chance," which means have a specific skill that you can take to a college court and make college coaches recognize you. So I ended up kind of getting into the ball handling area and becoming really good with the ball handling, and that led to being the high school player of the year in the state of West Virginia. And then I was able to be recruited of the 50 or so schools, countless letters. I was able to weed through that process with my parents and pick the best university for me, which happened to be Marshall University. I played 4 years at Marshall. I was an all-league player, still hold records at the school. I'm in the school's Hall of Fame. I have 2 college degrees from there, and everything I have has come from that college experience. So I was one of the fortunate ones. I picked the right school, had an amazing experience. That's not to say that it was perfect, but it was just a phenomenal experience. Then I had hoped to be an NBA player. That didn't materialize. I didn't get a cup of coffee in the NBA. But what I did realize right after college is I wanted to be a basketball coach, which is the next best thing. So I got into college coaching because of the impact coaches have on kids. I cannot tell you how many times I've experienced this where kids aren't listening to their parents, but a coach steps in and the kid's going home. The parents are saying the exact same thing the coach is, but all of a sudden the kid's going home going, coach says, and it's the exact same things the parents have said before, but because of the power of the word coach, they're going home with coach said and following the command. So there's just this camp goes to the nth, a little bit different. I've added this year the piece of leadership, which is the Pyramid of Success, John Wooden's Pyramid of Success, with some amazing cornerstones like hard work and goal setting and enthusiasm and several things that we'll be discussing at the camp. But I was very fortunate in my path to come across some great teachers who motivated me, and I'm really big on motivation, and I'm really big on convincing a kid to set big goals. And even if you're not able to accomplish that big goal, you can fall somewhere down the path still in a pretty good place.
Sure. So now we know you went from, obviously, player of the year, playing Division I basketball, to coaching at the Division I level. Just kind of for the listeners here, can you just, and those who are aspiring to be at Division I, can you tell us maybe one of your most memorable experiences as a Division I coach, whether that was an assistant at UCLA or head coach, or even at Marshall University? Marshall, can you tell us a little bit about one of your most memorable experiences there?
Well, my most memorable experience at Marshall, hands down, is when I became a starter as a freshman and was able to take the court against some of the top talent in the country, some of the best players in the country, some of the top 20 teams in the country, and lead my team out there on the court, and lead my team to being a winner. And but as a coach, I would have to say the pinnacle of my success was I was able to recruit a player, get him to college, and get him through the 4 years, walking across the stage with his mom and dad, our school president, and help them get their college degrees. I played in front of 60,000 people before as a coach. So I played in front of 300 people. So I've been a little bit at every level. I spent half my level Division I at Marshall as the head coach and at UCLA as an assistant. The other half of my career I spent at the University of Charleston in West Virginia and University of Pikeville in Kentucky, which is small college. So I would have to say the pinnacle and the biggest thing of being a coach for me was not the hoopla of the games or the wins, but the amazing relationships I was able to build with the players and the parents and help young guys cross the bridge from where they were currently at the high school level and transition across the bridge to becoming a successful college player and then finishing up their career before they moved into the biggest game of all, the game of life, with a college degree.
Excellent. Hey, I think that's a big time, right? Your biggest passion, some of your biggest accomplishments were helping others, experience and realize that dream of getting that college degree and sticking to that promise that you made to the parents of helping their kids walk across that stage, something they can never lose. But another, cool, interesting fact about you, Coach, is that you have some pretty famous friends as well. So you're not just there alone. Tell us a little bit about, John Calipari. We know he just went through this huge ride, this undefeated season. Unfortunately, he lost there at the end. How was it kind of talking to him through this process, and what were some of the type of conversations you guys had while he was going through this journey?
So obviously, John Calipari and I kind of grew up in the business together. When I was playing at Marshall, he was playing at Clarion up in Pennsylvania. He was playing at the small college level. We kind of crisscrossed. We worked in camps together, fresh out of college. We're the same age. We became really, really good friends. And, we've stayed in touch, and his former athletic director at UMass is really where he got his coaching career started. Was my athletic director at Marshall. So we've got some really, really, really close friends. They work in the business that we share, and we've always been in touch. He's a dear friend. Obviously, an amazing year. I think they ended up going 38-1 and lost in the Final Four. So Coach Cal is an amazing guy and an amazing friend. He's just totally convinced that he's going to bring a guy in there and he's going to recruit the best players in the country, and they're going to play a year or two for him, and they're going to be in the NBA. So, and he's been unbelievably successful. There's no one that's been able to reach the level of producing NBA players as John Calipari. He's a very ambitious man, a huge goal setter, thinks outside the box, and just an amazing coach and amazing friend. So I've been blessed. Also, very good friends with Billy Donovan, who just left college basketball to take over in the NBA. I'll be coaching Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, two of the best players in the world. So I've got some pretty good contacts, and Dana Altman's another contact, head coach at University of Oregon, and I know practically every college coach in the country.
Wow. How do you think what does that do for you? What type of advantage do you think that is for you as a camp organizer, camp owner, having those types of contacts? What does that mean for the athletes who come to your camps?
Well, I would say this. I own in Big Shots, I own the basketball portion of the basketball camp portion of Big Shots. My partner, Jeff Schneider, owns the tournament portion of Big Shots. Last year, in their tournaments, we had 30,900 kids. 2 of every 3 kids that get recruited in college basketball play in our Big Shots events. So I know a lot of people, as does my partner, Jeff Schneider, who spent 25-plus years in college coaching as well. We have over 50 years of college basketball coaching experience, excluding our years with Big Shots. So, having being on the feeder side of the system, meaning, we're dealing with the players. It's an amazing arena to be in, because I'm on the other side and I'm able to take my knowledge and experience and share it with athletes that are trying to play college, and can literally convince guys, you can do this. If you're truly committed to this goal and you have a vision and a plan.
It's breaking up a little bit on us, Coach. It's breaking up. I know you're out there busy. It's breaking up just a little bit on us.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
All right, so I think we temporarily lost the coach. We're going to try right now to try to get him back on the line. We're not exactly sure how we lost him, but for those of you who are still listening, again, this is Coach Greg White, and we decided to interview him today. He's bringing his camp out here again for us. He's going to give us those athletes and those parents who are looking for that opportunity to really get their kids evaluated, not just like a regular typical camp and a typical evaluation. You'll be evaluated by the pros, obviously. These are people who are professional with it, have a professional recruiting service, but then you'll also be able to get those added elements, as he mentioned, from, seminar aspects for the parents. He has incredible fundamental drills. I mean, Coach Greg White is a real deal. You have a lot of a business organizer and camp organizers who they kind of get in for the wrong reason. And, what Coach Greg White does, which is, by far, above and beyond your typical experience, is that you come there and you leave there a better person. So you may have been in that one particular aspect or understanding the process for one particular aspect. When you leave Coach Greg White's camps, you leave there with a completely different perspective. You understand what you got to do to get your kid recognized. And what I really want to ask him when he gets back on, and I'm looking forward to it, is there's several different levels of college basketball. And everybody's going for D1, which is understanding. But I think, Coach, you back on?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
All right, perfect. Excellent. We got you back on. So this is perfect segue. So we lost you for a minute, but, one of the big questions that we get is that we know there's several different levels of college basketball. And I really want you, if you can, just take a little bit of time and really go into this one, because everybody's going for D1, but you've coached at multiple levels. And would you say that for the athlete who has the determination, they may not even have the best skill, but maybe there's a spot for them on one of the lower levels? Can you tell us a little bit about the levels and the opportunity that these athletes have if they're not exactly D1 talent?
Well, certainly. There's Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, and junior college. Needless
Wow,
to say,
that's a lot of levels.
Everyone watches March Madness, and that's the Division I level. But just as equally as impressive for the avid basketball fan is they have a Division II national tournament, and that's a smaller level, but it's Division II. Some amazing institutions, incredible facilities. But the Division II level, from a standpoint of balance in a kid's life, meaning you play 2.5 hours a day of basketball, and you flip the switch and you're a normal student on a college campus, is far superior to the athletes I coached at UCLA, who are totally tied up 7-8 hours a day with their basketball experience at UCLA. And don't get me wrong, when you're playing on CBS and you're playing in the NCAA tournament and you're coaching NBA guys and you're at UCLA and you're playing at Kansas and at Duke and at Kentucky, it's an amazing experience. But in reality, regardless of what level you play at, you're going to have contact on a college campus with approximately 25 people, your college teammates, a couple of administrators, and then you're going to deal with a handful of professors and advisors. And so many kids pick the college because of the gym. There's only one problem with that. When you're playing at a major university and a sellout crowd within 15 minutes has left the parking lot, you'll never see them again until the next game time. When you're
Wow.
sick on a college campus, that building will never take care of you. When you're struggling in the classroom or you have a personal problem at home, that building will never be able to help you through any issues. So I say that the Division I experience is a great experience. So is the Division II experience of full scholarships at Division II. And then the Division III level has approximately 450 members, more than Division I and Division II, and it's merit-based, academic merit-based funding. So there are scholarships. There's just not sports scholarships. So if you have great grades, you can go to that level. And there are actually Division III teams out there that can beat Division I teams. They're better than some Division I teams out there. Most Division III athletes are incredibly smart. They've got their head on straight. They're focused. And then there's the NAIA level that's set up for the kid who needs a second and third chance, who's been in a little bit of trouble maybe or flunked out at the previous institution. And then, of course, the junior college is for kids that haven't established the necessary GPA, do not have the proper work habits, and have not really called on. A lot of kids are late bloomers. They don't catch on to the discipline and things they need to be doing, and junior college is a perfect route for that individual. But all 5 levels, all 2,000-plus institutions, 2,500 coaches out there coaching all these teams serve a great purpose. I can honestly tell you from personal experience, being a college athlete is like being on a magic carpet ride. It's an amazing experience. You have so many people there on that college campus attempting to assist you. I've never seen a college professor ever in my entire career as a player and coach that did not want to help kids. Now, I've seen hard professors, and I've seen, middle of the road hard teachers, and I've seen easy teachers. But I've never seen a teacher to this day that wasn't willing to help a kid. So I think at the end of the day, those 5 areas, the arenas that these kids can play in, there's just some amazing opportunities. And I have friends that have played Division III and II. I've coached some amazing athletes. And a lot of the Division II and Division III athletes go on to be Division I head coaches or Division II head coaches, Division III head coaches, NAIA head coaches. There's a ton of Division I coaches that played small college basketball. So there's a ton of money in athletics, and a lot of bridges are there to cross once you graduate from any college. Amazing opportunities exist on the other side of the bridge.
So, Coach, you're saying that if a player is dedicated and understands what's necessary and is willing to put in the time and the effort, just like you didn't come from this huge, type of gene pool, you had to work hard. If there is a potential spot at one of those 5 levels, would you say that there's a spot for that hard worker at one of those 5 levels? Would you say that?
Absolutely. What I would say is this, and this is a better analogy than anything. When you watch March Madness, there's 68 teams that are so excited. But when you break down every team, whether it be Kentucky, Duke, UCLA, or Central Florida, a smaller level Division I, a Marshall, well, every Division I team has 3 or 4 kids who average double figures. And then there's another couple kids that average 6 and 7 points. But over half the team averages less than 5 points a game. They're just an okay player playing on a college basketball team. And it can be said about every level. Most kids are just pretty good players playing college basketball. Very few kids ever make their school's Hall of Fame, and which is a very difficult thing to do, which usually forces you to be a 1,000-point scorer. But most kids that go play college basketball end up getting their college degrees, which is the platform for real success in the biggest game they'll ever play in, the game of life. I guarantee you, every mother and father listening out there, if they could have their choice of their son being a great basketball player or having a college degree, and they can only pick one, they would pick the education piece, because as parents, we've already lived their life, and we understand to be successful in the workplace, you must be educated, and that degree catapults you to the next level.
Sure. Hey, Coach, I'm sure you have done a great job. Again, I wish I could go back and play. You're getting me excited. Again, I've never heard of this approach towards basketball, towards the camp experience. Most kids go out to these places, they're just a number. Again, what I know from, talking to you over the years, that they're not just a number, they're a person who has a life, who has a future, and you do your best not only to help them excel in basketball, but also in the game of life that you gratefully call it. So what I want to do, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're super busy preparing campus. Camp is actually right around the corner. So for those parents who are looking to get their kids signed up, I know the website is BigShotsEliteBasketballCamp.com. Coach, can you tell them a little bit about how this process works? How many days is it? Which days does it take place? And kind of what they can expect from this camp experience?
Actually, the website is BigShotsBasketballCamp.com. It is an elite camp because of the elite teachings. We'll have players from every level, so there will be some players that are terrific. We'll have some players that are pretty good. Then we'll have some average players. Then we'll have some kids that are trying to lift off their careers. We have 2 divisions. We have a junior high division and a senior high division. Ninth graders can play up if they're good enough. But we have the 6 through 9 level, and then we have the 10 through 12 level. But at the end of the day, the camp is an amazing teaching environment, full of motivation. And to get registered for this camp, all you have to do is go on the website. There's a ton of information on the website. It talks about the different seminars we have. And if your child comes to camp, I'll offer something that no camp in the country will offer. And I'm offering it again here today. I'll offer a full money-back guarantee. You're not totally satisfied with the camp. At the end of the camp, you get a full refund. I've never had anyone take me up on it, because every parent, every kid knows we pour our heart and soul into every kid there. We'll call every kid by their first name. We'll develop a personal relationship. They'll get to know our staff. The camp is a lot of hard work, some amazing fun. It'll be a life-changing experience. And again, when the kid gets in the car, if they don't say, "Mom, Dad, that was an amazing experience," and if they're not so tired they can hardly hold their head up, all you have to do is give me a call and say you want your money back. I'll be more than happy to refund the money. I don't know another camp director that would say that. I will be there 100% of the time, pushing these kids, working with them. I'm the first guy at camp every morning and the last guy to leave every day. 3 nights, 4 days, Randolph-Macon College in Ashland, Virginia, June 20th through 23rd. Don't miss this amazing opportunity to be at Big Shots Elite Basketball Camp.
Hey, Coach, again, I want to thank you for the time. Again, just for those people who missed it, it's BigShotsBasketballCamp.com. Again, it's BigShotsBasketballCamp.com. If you need to get in contact with Coach, the telephone number is 855-836-2830. Camp is right around the corner. That's June 20th to the 23rd at Randolph-Macon College in Virginia. Again, and you guys heard it. He's given a money-back guarantee. I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've never heard of a money-back guarantee to a camp. Coach stands behind what he says. He understands what he's delivering to these kids, and obviously he's putting his money where his mouth is. This is a big-time deal. Any parent who's on the fence, or you guys are trying to figure out what's the best opportunity for your kid, you're hearing it from me, definitely give it a shot. Go out there. Worst-case scenario, your kid hates it, they get the money back. best case scenario. Everything Coach says is true, and you're looking at not only a great basketball player, but a great person in life as well. I'm sorry, Coach.
Raheem, an added bonus. I'm going to give to every mom and dad that come to the seminar, and every kid, if their parents can't be there, the most amazing 64 questions that you'll ever have in your life. The 64 questions that you need answered prior to picking a college.
Wow, so this is basically like a cheat sheet. It's like a cheat sheet, right?
Yes, it's the questions you need answered on academics, such as, does the school have my major? Do you pay for summer school? All the way down to the social aspect of the breakdown of the campus, from a geography standpoint, as well as demographics, as well as where can I get a haircut once I settle in there on campus. Everything, every question you need answered from A to Z on how to pick a college, given to the parents. If you get the answers you're happy with, you found your college.
Wow, big time. Hey, Coach Greg White, we want to thank you very much for the time. We look forward to hearing all the great things that's happening. Again, we appreciate what you're doing for the kids there, the Big Shots basketball camp. Again, thank you very much. Again, the camp is June 20th to the 23rd. That's BigShotsBasketballCamp.com. Thank you very much, Coach Greg White. You have a great rest of your day, man. We appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.